Oh yeah! I can't wait to play some more Metal Gear Solid! This is a stealth mission, Snake. Wait, what? Was that my codec? Keep your eyes open. That's it! This is a stealth mission,
You're
Snake.
looping already?!
I want to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
You can't play Metal Gear Solid 5. The internet says you have to play Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker first.
I don't want to play Peace Walker. I want to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
But you need Peace Walker to understand the story and characters of Metal Gear Solid 5.
But Metal Gear Solid 5 looks so cool. I just want to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
But once you skip over Peace Walker, you'll never be able to go back and understand the complete story of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Fine, I'll play Peace Walker.
It's not bad or anything, but I get it. Metal Gear Solid 5 is super tempting. At least we can make this video so others playing through the series can determine for themselves whether or not to play Peace Walker.
It was a tremendous amount of changes to make Metal Gear work on the PSP while still moving forward from Metal Gear Solid 4. And for the record, I'm playing the PS3 port of the HD Legacy Collection. So, how's it play?
Oh, come on. It is not that bad. If anything, this is like playing a portable beta for Metal Gear Solid 5, and there was a ton of innovation done here for 5 to even happen.
But good lord, are there a lot of gameplay problems. And a lot are understandable with the substantial hardware change between 4 and Peace Walker. But the rest are just bad design choices.
So this time, Snake isn't alone.
Yes, he is!
Okay, well, he's not in spirit. You'll be able to Fulton knocked out bad guys and recruit them for your own mercenary army. Those recruits will be able to assist Snake back at Mother Base by researching and developing new equipment and other tools for missions, as well as fight in off-camera combat missions, work in intel, medical, or even food supply.
It's basically a Warlord's Animal Crossing.
Instead of having a traditional linear story, you'll be selecting missions on the main menu, then selecting your deployment gear before loading the mission. Based on your performance in the missions, you'll be awarded with a ranked score, and by completing missions throughout the game, you'll unlock more, tougher missions, which in turn progresses the story.
I both love and hate this radical change. It's a great idea to add more focus to the gameplay, especially after Metal Gear Solid 4, considering Peace Walker is a portable installment, but the way it's implemented is awful. Missions end abruptly, right at critical moments in the story, where Snake gets magically whisked away back to Mother Base so he can change up his gear, grab a ration, check on his crops, soldiers, whatever, all before, poof, suddenly arriving back at the same situation when he's good and ready for the next mission. Not only does this completely shatter the immersion in this story-heavy series, but it doesn't even make any canonical sense, as Snake somehow completely changes his own weapon loadout and outfit in a flash. He could even be replaced with a random MSF soldier to play the mission for him!
Yeah, so weapon loadouts are changed up, and I'd say for the better. Instead of cramming an entire armory, including a 12-foot railgun up his slithering tuchus, Snake must plan ahead and bring only the weapons he needs for each mission. Though you can essentially radio in for more ammo and rations if need be.
Agreed, it's much better in terms of flavor and strategic stealth gameplay. But when it comes to controls, the game just never really feels comfortable. Everything is indescribably awkward, like how Snake can't move while shuffling through items, but everything else still goes. Or like how you'll always seem to find yourself accidentally crawling, punching, or firing empty guns accidentally due to the quirky control schemes.
Well, what about the crazy amount of cool missions there are in this game? There's tons of stealth segments and even plenty of crazy boss fights against tanks, helicopters, and even several Metal Gear-like AI-controlled mech units that you'll straight up have to grind against if you have literally any hope of reaching the hidden Chapter 5 and challenging the true final boss. You straight up have to replay those missions to destroy particular parts over and over again to increase the drop rates for the loot that you need in order to construct and complete your own AI mech creation called Metal Gear Zeke, among many other silly hidden requirements, but let's not go there yet. Yeah, that's not exactly very Metal Gear, especially for how frail the suspension of disbelief already was with the jarring mission system. Grinding bosses for a chance at obtaining items critical to advancing the story was definitely not a good idea, even though it was inspired from Monster Hunter and resulted in an amazing series of collab missions where Snake got to straight up battle Rathalos, Tigrex, and the new Gear Rex inspired by the Monster Hunter team. Those fights, among many others, just felt unfair.
Maybe it's an amalgamation of a bunch of little things all colliding together, but this game just doesn't feel very fair in its hit detection, control, and responsiveness. I will say that some grandfathered elements like the psych gauge were totally pointless. I honestly didn't even know that it was doing anything until the final boss. Or rather, the first final boss. Though Peace Walker laid the groundwork for 5, we can't discount all that it managed to establish for Metal Gear on the PSP. Even still, I will never revisit this game. This game is ugly. Come on now, it's a PSP game. Okay, I should clarify. Yes, the game is low poly and clunky looking with gross smudgy poop colors. I expected that for the PSP, even after the retouches for the PS3 edition. But even the UI itself is confusing and occasionally hard to navigate. Honestly, I didn't even know that the game even had codec call mission briefings buried in the menus until the very end of the game. But the most obvious graphical offender is the sorry excuse for the cutscenes. They use this jarring animated motion comic style akin to the graphic novels. Now hold on, the PSP couldn't handle much more than that graphically. It was a stylish solution to a hardware problem. It's still uncomfortably unfitting when actual low poly 3D animation cutscenes get slapped next to painterly motion graphics. No matter how good the art is, this idea was just doomed from the start. And the art itself is pretty low-res and blurry. Some of the dialogue balloons don't even match up with what the characters are even saying. Okay, I know that this looks bad, but I swear the game only gets better from here. You just need to bear with me a little longer. Totally redeemable. It just looks and plays like butt. After the conclusion of Metal Gear Solid 3, Big Boss, joined by Kaz, forms a rogue military group without a country called MSF, and gets caught up in an internal struggle between an invasive, mysterious military group and the defenseless Costa Rican people banned from forming their own military. Then, about 100 hours later, things actually start to matter. Come on now, that's not true. Oh yeah? Then tell me what actual influence on the plot did anything have before the final boss encounters? Stuff to do? And how did characters like Amanda, Chico, or Cecile influence the story in any way? They, need to keep getting rescued? Yeah, that's about the extent of it. Characters are only there to add a tiny semblance of narrative splicing between the stealth and action missions, as well as underwhelmingly shallow codec call dialogue compared to the past games. Well, what does matter is that Snake, commanding MSF, decides to defend Costa Rica by request of the young peace-loving Paz and Galvez, a mysterious man offering the group a means to establish their own mother base and grow MSF in exchange for protection through deterrence from the invasive rogue CIA forces and information on the boss via an audio cassette tape playing her voice, implying that she may still somehow be alive. Since the story is the main reason to play Peace Walker, some of you might just want to know the gist and bypass it to play Metal Gear Solid 5. So here's your spoiler warning and skip time. Or you can just watch my Let's Play series, shameless plug. By accepting this mission, MSF risks making enemies with America and aims to establish their neutral army of soldiers without borders. After dozens of missions protecting local mercenary groups and fending off invading forces, Snake meets Huey Emmerich, Hal's father, tasked with developing a new series of unmanned AI-controlled mechs by former CIA director Hot Coldman. Coldman aimed to reclaim his place as the CIA director by proving the usefulness of his new Peace Walker, the greatest of his unmanned AI creations, a walking, nuclear-equipped all-terrain battle vehicle that will instantly retaliate with a nuclear strike without fail upon detecting an incoming nuclear bombardment. With the idea of assured mutual destruction, the mech was designed to guarantee peace. But Coldman starts getting antsy and demands that Huey fires a nuke to prove to the world that the retaliatory assuredness of Peace Walker does work. Huey refuses and instead joins MSF in hunting down and destroying all of the AI units. This leads Snake to Dr. Strangelove, developing the Mammal Pod, an AI built on controlling Peace Walker's rational thinking, coded to reflect the decisions and even voice of the boss. So yeah, of course the boss wasn't alive. Galvez's audio recording was actually just picking up the Mammal Pod, so there's that. Also, Dr. Strangelove tortures Snake as per tradition. Snake is also very confused about, or straight up doesn't even know, the boss's intentions from Metal Gear Solid 3. Even though we know he heard the audio cassette left by Eva at the end.
This doesn't really make a whole lot of continuity sense, but at least it helps drive the ongoing dynamic between Snake and the ghost of his mentor in the machine. Though we mentioned this before, let's keep in mind that this story keeps getting awkwardly segmented through mission breaks, teleporting Snake back to base right when a bunch of snipers show up, or a tank or a helicopter or AI unit rolls in, or even right after getting captured as a POW, returned right back to where he was with entirely different gear. Eventually, Snake is forced to destroy the Peace Walker as it attempts to retaliate from a fake missile bombardment, firing its own real nuclear warheads in response. However, even after Snake's victory, the crumbling machine still somehow sends off faulty missile data to the CIA, who nearly retaliate themselves before the boss's memory shines through the decrepit machine as she once again gives her life to save everyone, drowning the Peace Walker in the sea, stopping the faulty transmission, and ending the nuclear standoff for good. Snake interprets this as a betrayal from the boss, as she's shown that she'd rather lay down her arms than fight, and considering himself to be a weapon created by her, this action causes Snake to discard her bandana and finally accept his title as Big Boss. So, you'd think that this would be the ending and all, especially considering how you got end credits, but nope. Okay, so up to this point, beating a story mission would unlock the next one, but from here on, you'll need to complete random extra missions until the game feels like giving you the next story mission, and those missions aren't exactly exciting. Turns out Galvez was actually a KGB spy named Zadornov, and repeatedly tries escaping Mother Base from here on out. Every time you'll have to hunt him down and haul his sorry Soviet butt back to the brig, all just so you can farm a couple other random missions before he'll escape it. Do it all over again. This gets old fast, and by the 7th freaking time, Zadornov finds a way to remove his transmitter, meaning you don't have a new mission to hunt him down with. Meaning you'll need to search across the entire game in well over 100 missions in order to find him hiding somewhere. Luckily, if you go in order, you'll find him in an early training mission at Mother Base's shooting range. By the way, absolutely none of this triggers at all if you didn't complete your totally optional Metal Gear Zeke prototype, which, let me remind you, requires you to repeatedly grind against the past AI pod bosses, damaging certain parts over and over again in order to increase the chances of their dropping the pieces that you need to build Zeke. This grind, I assure you, is also gonna get old fast. After finding Zadornov for the final time, Snake discovers that his escapes were orchestrated by Paz as distractions in order to secretly modify and eventually hijack Metal Gear Zeke, where Snake must battle his own creation and stop Paz from launching Zeke's nuke obtained from the fallen Peace Walker at the United States to guarantee the retaliatory destruction of MSF and its reputation permanently if they don't agree to join her employer, Cypher. See, Paz was actually an agent for Cypher, which is actually Major Zero from Metal Gear Solid 3. He and Snake both took opposite measures in carrying on the boss's will, causing them to become enemies. Kaz admits to knowing about Cypher and Paz's involvement in MSF all along, but went along with it in order to assure that MSF could reach its full potential. Anyway, so Snake battles Zeke alone, even though they're literally fighting at his home base, where he has dozens if not hundreds of armed men willing and able to help him. Now that I think about it, pretty much every boss encounter should have been a military group invasion instead of a solo sneaking mission, but Metal Gear, I guess. So Snake reluctantly destroys Metal Gear Zeke, letting it and Paz fall crashing into the ocean in one of the game's only CG cutscenes. And that's literally all you need to know for Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, don't you feel better knowing you've beaten Peace Walker and gotten the full story? As a completionist, yes. As a gamer, not really. This was honestly the most uneventful and bland Metal Gear game I've ever played by a mile. Hey, at least you got to make a custom pink Snake-mobile. Though a lot of this game's music is just par for the course, the main theme, Heaven's Divide, is so good, it's admittedly my favorite song in the entire series.
How can we ever protect and fight with our tiny souls?
Oh yeah, and that random anime poppy song that plays during the True Final boss fight was just weird and disjointed. Yeah, that was strange. I thought you were gonna complain about how Heaven's Divide first gets used in generic Mukin helicopter battle number 76 and not anything super important. Maybe the story was just so hollow to begin with that there wasn't a better place to put it in the entire game, devoid of any villainous foxhound unit or memorable characters at all, but instead just generic tanks and mechs. But thanks for pointing that flaw out for me. Whatever, I love this song.
If you've played Metal Gear all the way up through Metal Gear Solid 4, you can't move on without checking out this impressive PSP installment.
Yes, you can.
No! But what about all the story and everything they're gonna miss out on if they don't play this one first? There's all the context and characters that connect the dots from Metal Gear Solid 3
I'm
to
not
5
stopping
that
you.
won't make any sense otherwise. The positive gamer in me really enjoyed Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, ranking it with a solid 6 out of 10. Though admittedly, this is easily the weakest installment in terms of story and gameplay for Metal Gear, but its innovations and ambitious design implementations make it worth your while grinding away at the game's massive mission assortment.
The critical gamer in me was definitely let down by Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, giving it a slithering 4 out of 10. As a game, and especially one from this epic saga, my expectations were set high going in, and pretty much no aspect of this title could fill the shoes of its predecessors. Is that unfair to ask from a portable alteration of the Metal Gear format? I don't know, but all I can do is fairly rate it as it stands today, a mediocre experience. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker in the comments below. Yeah, it helps for some extra context, but if you honestly believe that you absolutely have to play Peace Walker before touching Metal Gear Solid 5, then you're just playing with yourself. Special thanks this week go to Kim for making my glorious pink Snake Mobile's Metal Gear Zeke. You can check higher resolutions of all the whiteboard art on my Twitter page, so be sure to follow me with the links in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate future episodes. Thank you to our Patreon members, Atomic Thomas, Cameron, Arrow, Ben, Rowan, Erica, Shayam, Squat Fam, Sid, and Denny. Booyah!